back it down, I don't go for none. I'm so hot, they nickname me the sun. Everything black and white like a nun. Bray, they made it, you know I'm the one. Bray, they made it, you know I'm the one. Bray, they made it, you know I'm the one.
What's going on? It's your boy Brady Mayday, and I'm back with another react. And today I'm finna be reacting to Tay K court sentences that happened, I want to say about a week ago. I know I'm late to the party, but you know, I've been going through some things and couldn't really get to round to reacting. But anyways, back to the video. We all know that Tay K, he been fighting this case since about 2017, 2018. And originally he was sentenced to, I want to say, was it 55 years at first? Back in 2019, he's found guilty of the capital murder and the other murder charges that had happened in 2017, I guess. And shoot, man, it's been crazy, and I hope that, like, you know, he could do a retrial, because this trial that just happened recently, he was found innocent of the capital murder, which was kind of good, but really didn't really do him too much justice, because he was still found guilty of the original murder. I want to say of Mark Sandifer, or whatever the guy's name was. And it's really bad for Tay K. You know, he with him having to really grow up in jail. You know, he really didn't have no guidance out here. He didn't have the right tools for success to lead him down. But, you know, I hope some loopholes can happen for him, you know. We're going to start the video, though.
All right, we are on the record in 2019 CR 124.
It's crazy, man, how this dude it's crazy how different he looked now. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, when he went in, you know, he was still fresh. You know, you could tell he was still like a child for real, bro. When you like 16, 17, you don't really, you feel like you got an idea of life or whatever the case may be, but you don't really got an idea of things. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know the severity of so much things. You just, you know, you just following what you see. And, you know, you could just tell Tay K was just a product of what he was around and what he was led by, you know, with his father. I heard his father went there. Mother was in and out. He had to go through the adoption system, you know, the child protective system, man. So, you know, things weren't really lined up for him to succeed for real, you know. We're just being honest, you know. So, you know, I just hope he could get a second chance, though, man. But it's crazy how different he look now. Like, he don't even look the same as when he first went in. Like, he looks a lot more mature. You know, you could tell he had to really grow up for real, but he grew up in jail.
Can I have parties announced for the record, please?
Jason, go ahead and make a Galloway for state, Your Honor. John Hunter Thomas Lane, for Mr. McIntyre, Your Honor.
All right, it's the court's understanding from the deputy that a verdict has been reached in this case. This is what I'm going to tell all the parties who are present in this courtroom. There's not to be any outbursts. If there's an outburst,
and before we get into the verdict, man, I just want to say he really had a disadvantage for living in Texas. Like, I feel like if he lived anywhere else, he may have had a better chance, you know. But when it comes to places like Texas, Florida, you know, those places, man, they gonna make an example out of you when you do something. They gonna spank your ass. They gonna spank you. You know what I'm saying? They gonna give you football numbers. Or they may just kill you. You know what I'm saying? I believe Texas still got their death penalty, and they not afraid to use it. You know, Texas don't play that, you know. But, man, Texas is one of those states that you don't get a second chance once you fuck up, you know? But get back to it.
What's going to end up happening is a deputy is going to tap you on the shoulder. There's no need to get into a conversation with the deputy. That tap on the shoulder is meaning that you are to leave this courtroom, and you will only be allowed back in this courtroom if you're going to be a witness. Does everyone understand?
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone who cannot do that? So, both parties, for the state and the defense, if you need to talk to members who are currently in court that are either with the state or defense, you may do so now. Otherwise, I'm going to bring the jury in.
Man, he just, like, that vibe, bro.
All right,
that vibe in that courtroom, G, it's just like, I hate to say it, but everybody in that, like everybody that's on Tay K side, they just look worried. Like, man, you could tell that that's been a hard fault. Like they've been fighting hard for that, and like the look on his face just tell it all.
Let's bring the
He
jurors
just
in.
looked down.
All right, for the jury.
Man,
All
he
right,
just you
everyone,
could
please
just
be
see the
seated.
anticipation on his face. Like KK just want a second chance, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's my understanding that you've reached a verdict in this case. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that verdict unanimous?
Yes.
All right, if you will give the verdict form to Deputy Laura, please. Thank you.
I'm anticipating it, even though I know what didn't happen, but it's just crazy to see like the vibe that's in that room.
All right, if the defendant could please stand. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder. What did I, excuse me, no.
See, you can't blame a mother, man, for just being excited, just for hearing that, because with all the stuff stacked up against him, all you can do is have faith and have hope, that the right things can happen for him. And for a mother to look at her son in this type of situation, that probably felt like a relief at that moment. So, I do understand, I feel like the judge should have been a little more understanding, but I do get it. You gotta have some type of conduct in court, but at the same time, man, it's still emotions in play in these type of situations.
No, out of the courtroom. Out of the courtroom now.
That was just that's just crazy, man. Like I get it, man. You a judge, you got to keep order in the court, but at the same time, she should have put herself in a mother's shoes. Like of course she would want to be there for her child if her child was going through it. I bet you 9 times out of 10, if that judge child did the same thing Tay K did, she would have got him out of that situation with her power. I guarantee it.
All right,
That's
ladies and
just
gentlemen, you
wrong,
don't ignore
man.
that.
Like she should have just
Sometimes,
gave them a
as
second
you can
chance
tell,
too.
people are invested, correct? So it says, we the jury find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment. We the jury find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, guilty of the lesser included offense of murder. Does anyone wish to have the jury polled?
Not the state, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and do you want them polled as to both counts?
As to the
Man, look at his face. Like you could just see it. You could just tell like he was just at the brink, and when that second verdict came out, they just dropped him. Like you could just feel his heart just drop. Like damn, 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 damn. Like look at his head is down. Like he man, I feel for the brother, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel for him. Not saying that what he did was right. You know what I'm saying? Of course, like murdering somebody ain't right. I'm not condoning that at all, but all I'm saying is, he was a misguided youth, And as a black minorities, as black people, we're not given the same chances as other ethnic groups. And it's kind of sad sometimes, because it's people that did mass shootings, it's people that then killed many of people, and then got way less of charges than he did, you know. And honestly, that's a flaw in our justice system. You know what I'm saying? And if they could get second chances, why can't he get a second chance? That's just how I feel.
Count of conviction,
All right, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you if, in count two, the guilty verdict for murder, if that is your verdict. If that is your verdict, I'm going to need you to respond yes. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
So we'll start on this end and work our way down. Is this your verdict?
Look at, man, you could just
this
see
your
the
ver-
disappointment. Man, you could just see the disappointment on his face, man. Like, man, he just like his spirit, you can just tell his spirits is down, bro. Like, he probably just knew like I had it on this one, man. But you know, when you up against powers like that, man, it's hard, man. And you a person that's black, bro. Hard, bro. And I hope that Tay K could be a lesson for all the other people, all the YNs right now. Pay attention to this, what's going on right now. You get what I'm saying? Because these people ain't got no problem hanging you. And I ain't talking about literal hanging you. They'll hang you too. Don't get it twisted. But they don't have no problem throwing football numbers at you, taking the rest of your life away. So you gotta really think about the things that you doing out here. You know what I'm saying? Because these people ain't playing.
Verdict?
Yes.
Is this your 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 verdict?
They're alternates.
Oh, yes. All right. Back row.
Yes, sorry.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
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 All right, ladies
Man,
and
all
gentlemen,
them
what's going to
yeses
happen
against
now
that young brother,
is
man.
I'm going to allow you all to have your recess for lunch, and then we'll begin the second phase of the trial. All right? Everyone, please rise for the jurors.
But you know, that's basically it for the video. I wasn't really paying attention to that, but yeah, man, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I feel for Tay K, you know. Um he wasn't really set up for the right tools in life, man. He didn't have the right guidance, you know. He was just a child, you know, that was just misunderstood, misguided, and led the wrong way, you know. You know, and like I say, I hope that he could get a second chance at life. You know, a loophole that could be found. You know, hopefully he could go for his the case again. You know, he could just keep fighting it. It may take some years, but you know, like I say, you got mass shooters and people that like police officers that kill people, and they get away with it. You know, honestly, or they get a slap on the wrist. You know, so if they misunderstood and they too young to go through it. He's too young to go through it as well. You know, if we gonna play that ball game. So I just hope that he could get a second chance, get a loophole or a different lawyer or a different judge, whatever the case may be, that can look into his background and see that, you know, he deserves a second chance at life. You feel me? And if he get back out here and do the same thing, then that's what it's gonna be, you know, or whatever. But I honestly feel like if he was to get let free, man, or he was to get out, I feel like he would change his whole life. You know, he would do something different. He'd probably just stick to his rapping, you know, and just do what he got to do on that note. But, you know, I'm out, man. Brady Mayday.